So I was asked to speak since yesterday we celebrated Narsinga Chaturdashi. I was asked to speak about Prahlad Maharaj and Nursimadev and of course the pastime. And I was just reflecting. A few months back, I was just reading and there was this part that I read. No matter how much material things you engage in, after a point you get satiated or satisfied. Like you cannot take in more, right? The ISKCON's most used example is of gulab jamuns, right? How we can eat the first one, it's very relishing. The second one, very satisfying. Third one probably brings down our hunger, and then we keep eating, and then we come to a point where we're like, we cannot take anymore. And I was reading that when it comes to Krishna consciousness or spiritual materials, no matter how much you take in, you will not be satisfied. You will only greed for more and more. And in my life, there are two proofs to it, and I'm sure that is pretty universal. The first one is Damodar month, right? It comes every year. We offer ghee lamps, we sing Damodar Ashtakam, but we're never bored of it. Next time when it comes, we again go in with renewed vigor and energy. And the second one is Nursimadev drama, right? I mean, I've never attended in my last 10, 12 years that I've seen Nursimadev dramas happening in different temples. There's not been one single drama that has not been cheered, by whistles and claps, and everybody is like, almost they're jumping up their seats, right? Our very dear Sachisuta Prabhuji, I don't know how many years you've spent playing Hiranyakashipu, but every year we see you, we are like full of emotions. And then yesterday, I think I've not seen Venkat Prabhu play Narasimhadev before. I think he debuted yesterday, but still I could hear cheers and whistles, everything from behind the altar. So that is the actual practical proof that, no matter how much we engage in spiritual practices, reading spiritual materials or engaging in spiritual activities, we'll never be satisfied. We'll only hanker for more and more. While being satisfied, we'll hanker for more and more, in fact. So in those lines, I thought maybe I can share a little bit about the qualities of Prahlad Maharaj that is depicted through the pastime. Maybe I can recap the pastime for anybody who may be interested in 5 minutes. So here we have Hiranyakashipu, who wants to be the greatest of all beings. So he does a very severe penance and austerity, stands on one leg and he's praying to Brahma. Ants eat up his whole body, his whole flesh, only the skeleton is left. And Brahma is forced to come down and offer him a boon. He asks, can I become immortal? Brahma says, I don't have the power to grant you that wish. Ask me for something else. So Hiranyakashipu thinks he's amazing. So he asks for the same boon in a different shape, way, or form. He says, okay, grant me the boon that I will not die within the house or outside the house. Not during day, not during night time. Not in the sky, not on the land. Not by any human beings, not by any animals, not by any weapons, not by any living entity, not by any non-living entity, not by any demons, not by any demigods. He thinks his bases are covered. Brahma says tathastu. So there Hiranyakashipu is all set to take over the world. He's almost like a tyrant, and all the 330 million demigods are under acute stress under him. They are all very fearful. They are all afraid. And during this time, the demigods, they had kidnapped his wife, and who was expecting at that time. And then she was in Narad Muni's ashram, and Narad Muni would narrate to her Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prahlad Maharaj, who was in the womb, happened to hear it, and he becomes a devotee of Vishnu. Now he comes back to his father's house. The father comes to know he's a devotee of Vishnu. He's not following my protocols. So what do? We try to tame him. If not, let's kill him. So he tries all different ways. Prahlad is administered poison. He's thrown off a cliff. He's tried to be killed by tridents. He's thrown in a pit full of snakes. He's thrown under the elephants to be stamped by them. Doesn't work. So Hiranyakashipu decides, okay, let me kill him personally. And while he's about to kill him, he's like, okay, call your God if he's here. Let me see if he can save you. Not our God, your God. Hiranyakashipu obviously did not believe that Vishnu is his God. He was like, I am God. So he's about to kill Prahlad, and he asks Prahlad, where's your Krishna? Call him. He said he's everywhere. So then Hiranyakashipu asks him, is he in that pillar? He points to a pillar, and Prahlad said, yes, he's in that pillar. So just when Hiranyakashipu is about to slay Prahlad, the pillar breaks open and Nursimadev appears. And then there is a very intense fight between Nursimadev and Hiranyakashipu. And eventually, Nursimadev ends up killing Hiranyakashipu. How? Not inside the house, not outside the house. Where? On the entrance. We say chaukat in Hindi, right? It's not inside the house, it's not outside the house. When? Not during daytime, not at night, during dusk. So that is also fulfilled. Then not by an animal, not by a human being. So Nursimadev, as you can see the grand picture of Nursimadev there, he takes the form of a half lion, half man. So he's neither an animal nor a human being. No demigods, no demons. Of course, he's a supreme personality, himself. What else? No living thing, no non-living thing. So Nursimadev killed him with no weapons, but the tip of his nails. We know nail is a controversial body part, right? We don't know it's living, non-living, it grows, but it's non-living. So all the conditions were satisfied. The boon was not broken, but Hiranyakashipu was vanquished. So that is the pastime of Hiranyakashipu, Nursimadev appearing, which we usually enact in the drama. So it was interesting. I was hearing a few lectures, and in one of the lectures I heard that in the 10th canto, which describes about Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, there are 5 chapters dedicated to the glories of the gopis, the qualities of the gopis. But apparently there are 10 chapters in the 7th canto, which has Prahlad Maharaj's story. 10 chapters dedicated to Prahlad Maharaj's glory. So it is perplexing, right? Gopis are exhibiting prema bhakti, which is the epitome of pure devotional service. That's the rung we all want to reach to. That's our aim, right? Prema bhakti. Then why did Sukdev Goswami give 2x the amount of time describing Prahlad Maharaj's glories than the gopis? So what I heard was that this 5-year-old devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, he exhibits such tremendous faith and surrender to Krishna that it is important for us to know and imbibe that. Of course, we know, right? The rungs leading up to prema, Nishtha comes first, right? So you need to have faith and you need to have surrender. So in essence, you cannot even enter Canto 10, which talks about Prema Bhakti, unless you've passed through Canto 7, which talks about surrender and faith, which is shown by Prahlad Maharaj. So that's why it's more important to spend time in the lower rung so that we can, eventually be qualified to go to the uppermost step of Prema Bhakti. Also, I was reading that Srimad Bhagavatam, it is called a Mahapuran because it covers 10 subject matters, and if we have time, I can go through that slide as well. But one of the subject matters is Uti, which means auspicious and inauspicious activities and desires. And that subject matter is covered in the 7th canto. And how is it covered? Auspicious and inauspicious activities and desires. 2 contrasting personalities, Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu, they are brought face to face. And what is the lesson that we have to learn from Canto 7? The lesson that we get to learn in summary is how to, we all have both Shubha and Ashubha Ichchas within us, all of us. So the lesson that we learn from Canto 7 is how to nurture and take the Shubh Ichchas to practice, and how to either eliminate, and if we cannot eliminate, at least stay away from the Ashubh Ichchas, right? And how can we do that? Again, the examples given are of Prahlad Maharaj, right? Prahlad Maharaj was biologically a son of a demon, right? And when he was in Narad Muni's ashram, in his mother's womb. He had not even taken birth. And when Narad Muni was narrating Srimad Bhagavatam to his mother, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from his mother's womb before birth. And therefore, the impressions of auspicious desires registered in his mind. So he was born as a devotee of Vishnu, right? So how do we feed the auspicious desires and activities? By engaging in the association of great souls. Narad Muni was his guru. He had not even seen Narad Muni. He only lent his ears. And that's how he was able to register the auspicious desires in his heart. On the contrary, we see Jai Vijaya. They were great souls. They were the sons of Brahma, being born of his mind, and they were the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. But when the 4 Kumaras wanted to enter, they did not let him enter Vaikuntha. So the 4 Kumaras cursed them. Even though they were great souls, because they displeased the 4 Kumaras, they were cursed and they were born as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu in the next life. So the inauspicious activities and desires registered in their mind. So the summary is, if we want to nurture the Shubh-ichhas, we have to associate and hear from great souls. And if we have to give rise to the Ashubh-ichhas, then we have to make the mistake of displeasing devotees, which we should not. So with that, I'll share a few qualities of Sri Prahlad Maharaj that we see through this pastime of him being born in a demoniac family, him being 5 years old, him being tortured, but still how he surpasses all of this. So the first quality that we see here is Prahlado Bhagavat Priya. That means Prahlad is very priya to Bhagwan, Keshava, Krishna. But this line can have a double meaning. Prahlad is very dear to Krishna, or Krishna is very dear to Prahlad. It can have both meanings. And for Prahlad, both of these meanings, they hold true, right? Prahlad saw Krishna in everyone. Prahlad saw Krishna as Paramatma in the hearts of everyone. And that is the statement that we always make, right? A pure devotee always remembers Krishna. A pure devotee never forgets Krishna. And if at all he ever, forgets Krishna, even for a moment, he burns in this regret, right? Oh, Krishna, how could I forget you? Why did I forget you? So Prahlad Maharaj was like that. He was to him, everybody, he saw Vishnu in them, and so Vishnu was very dear to him. And similarly, he was also very dear to Vishnu because he exhibited this quality of a pure devotee, right? I had some shlokas here, from the few different scriptures that we have, where this is proven, right? The first one is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. Stavara Jangama dekhe na dekhe tara murti, sarvatra hoye nija ishta deva spurti. The Mahabhagavat, the advanced devotee, certainly sees everything, mobile and immobile, but he does not exactly see their forms. Rather, everywhere he immediately sees manifest the form of Supreme Lord. He'll see Supreme Lord everywhere and in everybody. Similarly, the next one is from Bhagavad Gita, which says, for those who see me everywhere and see all things in me, I am never lost, nor are they ever lost to me. So same was with Prahlad Maharaj, right? He saw Krishna everywhere, and Krishna was always there to protect him. No matter what atrocities his father was making him pass through, he always remembered Krishna, and so Krishna was there. In fact, when I come to the temple, I see our deities, nice deities made of marbles. From the few years of practice, at least this has been ingrained in my mind that, okay, in this deity, Krishna is there. That is what I feel when I see the deities. But Prahlad Maharaj saw Krishna even in a pillar. What to speak of such a beautiful form of right, Radha and Krishna. He saw Krishna even in a pillar. And that's why Krishna appeared from a pillar, right? Because he saw Krishna everywhere. He was so dear to Krishna that Krishna was eager to appear for him. That's why this quality that Prahlad was very dear to Krishna, and Krishna also was very dear to Prahlad. That is what we see from his life. The second quality that we see in Prahlad Maharaj is Prashanta. So there are three categories of people, right? Some are Shanta. When everything is happy and favorable, the person is usually unprovoked, unagitated, very peaceful, and things are nice. There is the second category, Ashanta. So Ashanta is a category where even if things are favorable and things are peaceful, still the person is in anxiety. The person is provoked. They have a lamentation of the past. They have hankering for the future. They are worried about the current existence. So all in all, they are always disturbed, easily provoked, always agitated. And the third category of people, which Prahlad Maharaj fell into, is Prashanta. Right? Prahlad Maharaj was never provoked, agitated. He never complained, never blamed. His own father was doing, all the injustice to him. He never asked Krishna, Krishna, why did you give me a father like that? He never said that. Right? So Prahlad was very, very Prashanta. And so I was hearing in a lecture by Amarendra Prabhu that our life is like martial arts, right? In martial arts, if you've seen some videos, either there is a teacher who's training a student. So what the teacher would do, the teacher will just lock arms and legs with the student and then pin him down, right? And by that, what is the teacher trying to show? That if you are in this position, your weakness is exposed, you will fall, right? But the teacher is not really trying to inflict any injuries to us or kill us or hurt us. He is just trying to show us our weaknesses and train us so that we can become better fighters. So in our lives also, our life is like a martial art field, right? Where Krishna is the teacher, and sometimes he will put us against another entity where we are locking hands and legs, we have some level of conflict, and sometimes we are pushed down, sometimes we push somebody down. But Krishna is not doing this again to inflict any injury to us. He's doing this so that we can become better fighters. So the point being, we should try to be Prashanta, right? Not be very agitated or provoked easily. I just read this, I think a couple days, 2 or 3 days back, and I usually get provoked very fast. And I mean, pandemic, we are all locked up, and it's just me and my Prabhu. So all activities have to happen between us. Sometimes I get agitated if something is not done or not done correctly. But when I read this, a couple times when I was about to say something which would have resulted in an argument or say something in a loud voice, somehow I just thought of this. Not that I transformed 100%, but at least 1 in 5 instances I was able to eliminate the extra argument that could have happened. And it was easy. I mean, I was able to let go. I don't know how long would my battery of intellect be charged so I can keep this in my mind and work this out in my life. But I tried it, and it helps to some extent. So if we can just, before reacting to any incident, think if it really needs you to raise your voice, or if it really needs an argument, if it really needs a fight, maybe we can be Prashanta in some situations, right? The easy ones, of course. We are not going through anything that Prahlad Maharaj went through. These are easy obstacles to get over, but if we try, I think we can work around it a little bit. So there was a very nice story that I read. So Chandrabhaga River, it's in Pandharpur, Maharashtra. So there was a very pious saint, and he was about to go for a deity worship. So he went and took a dip in the holy river. And there was one person sitting on the top of the ghat. As soon as this saint came out, he spit at him. So this saint just wiped his face and he went back to take a dip. Again, he came out, this person spit at him again. And for the person spitting, it became a very nice activity. Oh, it's fun. Let's continue doing it. And he did that 108 times. And 108 times the saint went to the water, took a dip again, and then came out. Finally, the person who was spitting gave up and he fell at the feet of the saint and he asked him, "How could you not be provoked? I was doing such a bad thing to you, spitting at you." The saint said, "No, I'm very grateful to you actually. Because you did that, now otherwise I would have just maybe taken a dip in the holy river, which is supposed to clear us of our bad karmas when we take a dip in the holy river. So I would have probably done it once a day. So the mercy that you have given me, I was able to clear almost 3.5 months of bad karma that I would have washed off by taking bath once a day in this one day. So I'm very grateful to you." So these are prashanta personalities, very difficult to imitate. But again, if we take baby steps or at least be cognizant of the fact, then maybe it's possible to implement in our lives, right? We have to, the lecture I heard, we have to be like empty vessels, when we pray to Krishna, and we have to say that I don't know what I've done in the millions of previous births that I've taken, but you know everything, Krishna, right? So you know how much of bad karmas I have accumulated, the reaction of which is pending, and you know that the reaction to my mountain like sins is mountain like huge, but you are only giving me a grain like reaction. So I'm very grateful that you're not giving me something that I cannot take, because I know I've accumulated so much that if you give me everything together, I will not be able to take it. So you are just reducing it to almost like a rice grain like size and giving it to me. So I'm very grateful that you are protecting me. That is the mood of prashanta personalities, and that is what Prahlad Maharaj was exhibiting to in his struggle. Um, and then the last quality I have here for Prahlad Maharaj is Samadarshina, right? We have seen in, I think, chapter 5, text 18, right? Pandita Samadarshina. We see a cow, an elephant, a dog eater, a Brahman, a humble person, right? Who knows the truth, sees all of these creatures with equal vision. So Shanda and Amarka, the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj, when they were teaching him subject matters of warfare, economics, politics, diplomacy, Prahlad was talking about Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Where are you learning this? Who's teaching you this? Don't learn this. This is your enemy's syllabus. This is not our syllabus, right? We are teaching you about warfare. Who's teaching you about sadhu sangha? Don't learn that. It is a bad topic to learn, right? So Prahlad Maharaj's reply was that this is animal mentality. Very, very nice example. Very practical too. Like a deer, right, or any animal for that matter, right? The animal will categorize living entities into 3 buckets, right? One is, okay, this, like for a deer, for example, a lion or a tiger is his enemy straight away, because the deer knows this entity eats me. Then there are grasses. The deer would eat grasses or leaves. So deer has a different mindset for the greenery. I can eat them, right? So I have a benefit here. And then the third category is my community of family deers, friend deers, and the deer species. They are of my kind. So they are my friends. They are my family, right? So enemy, people we can take advantage of, and the people who are in our circle of friends and families. So Prahlad Maharaj was saying, if we also have this categorized view of living entities around us, then our mentality is also like animal mentality. And I had never thought of this before, unless till I heard this, but it is so true, right? Gross bodies of animals, us, all living entities are made up of the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, and ether. So that is common across everyone. Subtle body is also common across everyone, irrespective of the species, yoni, creature we are. And soul is also the same. We are all parts and parcels of Krishna, starting from an ant to an elephant, including us. So, and that constitutes almost all of our identity: gross body, subtle body, and the soul. If all of that is same in different compositions and proportions for all the living entities, then shouldn't we see everybody with equal vision? That was Prahlad Maharaj's argument. The little difference that we could see maybe could be, okay, I may be from a different state in India, you may be from a different state in India, or I speak different language, you speak different language, or I, different caste, or born in different countries. But that's the most, right, that can differentiate us from other living entities, and that is insignificant, less than 1%, right? So that was Prahlad Maharaj's vision. He saw everybody with equal vision. That is why he was Samadarshina. So these were the three qualities of Prahlad Maharaj that I was reading and hearing about. And so the next, we don't have much time. I'll skip a couple slides here, but so we heard about the qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. We recapped the entire pastime, what happened. So why did Nursimadev appear, right? On the face of it, it may look like, yeah, Hiranyakashipu was given a very hard boon, which was difficult to break. So Krishna came to kill Hiranyakashipu. Of course, Nursimadev did come to kill him, but that was more like a side effect. Because he came, he finished that off too. The real reason why Nursimadev appeared in this form and so eager that he didn't even take the conventional route of entering through a door or anything. He, came out from a pillar. The only reason he appeared was because Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, that pillar has Nursimadev. Because Prahlad Maharaj said that pillar has my God, God had to appear to make the words of his devotees true. A pure devotee, whatever they say, Krishna may backtrack on his own words also, but Krishna will never let the words of a pure devotee become false. So that is why Nrsimhadev appeared. And this was a very nice shloka. I think Yugal Kishore Prabhuji also quoted this yesterday. Satyam vidatum nijabarta bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshva akhileshu chatmana adrishyat adbhutar rupam udvahan stambe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. To prove that the statement of his servant Prahlad Maharaj was substantial, which means true. In other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful form never before seen. The form was neither that of a man nor that of a lion. Thus the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. So the primary reason why Nrsimhadev appeared was because Prahlad Maharaj said that yes, he is there. And he was able to kill Hiranyakashipu on the sideline. Again, the Supreme Lord does not need to come to kill miscreants only, right? He can send someone else, he can make some arrangements. He's the Supreme Lord, what is there? Eventually, he just killed Nrsimhadev with the tip of his nails. He didn't have to come for that. But he came for the pleasure of Prahlad Maharaj and for the tremendous faith and surrender that he had in Lord Nrsimhadev. And this also, I'd never heard this shloka before, and it was initially very difficult for me when I was reading through it, but when I heard about the meaning, it was so beautiful. I think it's one of the best Srimad Bhagavatam shlokas I heard, so I tried to memorize it, and I thought I could share it today. Actually, the picture that we have of Nrsimhadev over there, Ugra Nrsimhadev, this is a very common picture in a lot of the temple devotee, in the temples in ISKCON. It's a standard picture. This verse was the inspiration behind this picture that we see here. And this verse shows us the Ashwarya ferociousness of Nrsimhadev. It describes Nrsimhadev, his mood, his looks, just after he has killed Hiranyakashipu. So it was so nice, and we can read through this verse and understand the meaning and the description. Maybe next time when we sing, Narsimha Aarti, we can, meditate on the features of Nursimadev too. It will make much more meaning. So the shloka is Naham bibemi ajitate ati bhayanakasya jivharkanetra brukuti rabhasorgadramstrat Antra sraja shataja keshara shankukarnan nirhad bhita digibat aribhinna khagrat. So this is the prayers. Prahlad Maharaj is starting prayers to Nursimadev after he has finished killing Hiranyakashipu. Everyone was very scared to approach Nursimadev, even the demigods. So Prahlad Maharaj walks closer with folded hands, and that's when he recites the prayers, starting with this one. And here he's saying, Na aham bibemi. So he's saying, I am not afraid of te, tava, your characteristics. And in this shloka, Prahlad Maharaj is describing 10 characteristics of Nrsimhadev in his ferocious form after he has killed Hiranyakashipu. So he is saying, Ati Bhayanak Asya. Asya is a widely open, gaping mouth. So Hiranyakashipu has just been killed after an intense, fierce fight. Nrsimhadev has slain him, and he's like very angry. His emotions are showing in his face. He's like breathing heavily from his mouth. It is said the way he was breathing, high tides would appear that way. Breathing was so enormous. And Ati Bhayanakasya. So this is saying it was like very fearful, very ferocious, the wide gaping mouth of Nrsimhadev. And again, Hiranyakashipu was not an ordinary man. He was so powerful that Indra would throw thunderbolts at him, and the thunderbolts would just hit his body and fall flat. So thunderbolts, they signify electricity, which means Hiranyakashipu could touch a live wire and nothing would happen to him. He was so strong. But all it took Nrsimhadev was just the tip of his fingers to just slain Hiranyakashipu. So he's describing his asya, his widely gaping mouth is very ferocious, very fierce, very fearful to look at. And then jivha, his tongue is as sharp as a razor. He has just plunged his fingers inside the body of Hiranyakashipu and tore it apart open, and his blood has splashed on Nrsimhadev's face, and he's just licking it away with his razor-like tongue. That is what is signified by jivha. And then there is Arkanetra. Netra is, of course, eyes, and Arka means sun. His eyes were as blazing and bright as the sun. We know we cannot look at the sun, which is millions of miles away, with our naked eyes. So we can imagine how glowing, how effulgent Nrsimhadev's eyes were. It could burn down the whole place. It was that bright. And then Brukuti, his eyebrows were moving like a snake with anger and emotion. His eyebrows were twisting and moving like a snake. Then Damstrat is defining his teeth. His teeth is so sharp. Any carnivore, canine teeth animal, if you see, right, a tiger, a lion, anybody, right, how do they catch their prey? They just go grab the neck of the prey with the teeth, and the teeth is so sharp, the animal flaps for a little bit and then the animal is killed. But so if a regular animal like a lion or a tiger can have that sharp of a teeth, what to speak about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? How sharp would his teeth be? That is being defined by Rabhas, which is the jaw. His jaw was like, it had very strong closing capacity. And then Ugra, it's defining his teeth. It was so sharp, it could tear apart anything. So, a Lord who has such sharp teeth, why cannot he not tear apart our anarthas, right? We have so much lust, anger, greed. I have so much lust, anger, greed, in me. So why is Nrsimhadev is fully capable, right? He gives so much pleasure to us. Whenever we see the drama, we are like cheering and clapping and whistling, right? We get so emotional and so like excited. So Nrsimhadev gives so much pleasure in our heart every time he appears. But we have to also understand that he is such a powerhouse of strength that if we approach him sincerely, there is nothing that he cannot do, including tearing apart our anarthas. So, we just celebrated Narsingha Chaturdashi. We should sincerely try to pray to Nrsimhadev that he can remove all the anarthas from our path of spiritual progress. Then the next one is Antra Sraja. Sraja is a garland and Antra is intestine. Again, it is you can see there Nrsimhadev is wearing a garland of intestines. That is Hiranyakashipu's intestine. So jokingly we can say, like, when an Atithi comes to our house or to the temple or anywhere, we usually garland them out of respect. Nrsimhadev was not welcomed like that by Hiranyakashipu. So Nrsimhadev tore apart his body and took the garland and put it around himself. But what I was hearing was, so when we speak, if we are not meaning something, if there's not much intensity, then we speak from our lips. If there is a little more intensity, like when we are doing kirtan, we are so much into it, we are excited, it'll come from our throat. We sing so deeply. And then if we are really intense, the sound comes from our stomach. So Hiranyakashipu in his life said only two things very intensely, very, very intensely, to come from his stomach. That was kill Vishnu and kill Prahlad. Those were his points of meditation throughout his life. And he would say that with so much intensity that the only part of his body that was pure was his stomach. That's why Nrsimhadev accepted his intestines and liberated him. So that was a very nice point that I heard. I had never thought of it that way. Krishna has a purpose in everything he does. Then the next one is Shataja Keshara. Shataja. So Shata means to inflict, to hurt. That's how the word Kshatriya comes from. So Kshatriya means a person who prevents his subjects from getting Shata, hurt. And Ja means to appear. So Shataja means that which appears when you get hurt, which is blood. So Shataja Keshara. Keshara is the mane, the beard of the lion-like form of Nrsimhadev. So it is described here that his mane was full of blood. The blood of Hiranyakashipu was dripping from his mane. And Shanku Karnan, his ears were pointing upwards in anger and emotions. And then Nirharada Bhita. So Lada means that which gives us happiness. Nirlada means that which does not give us happiness. Bhita means fear. So his form was not giving happiness. It was giving fears, right? Digibad. Digibad means elephants. Even the huge elephants, when they heard the roar of Nrsimhadev, they were running like mad everywhere. His roar was so fierce and so loud. And Ari bin Nakhagrat. Nakha means nails. Grat means the tip of the nails. Ari bin. Ari is enemy. Bin means to vanquish. So Nrsimhadev's transcendental nails, the tip of the nails, they were enough to slain a demon, the greatest demon of all times, like Hiranyakashipu. He didn't even have to use his palms, hands, biceps, nothing. Just the tip of the nails were enough to vanquish Hiranyakashipu. So this verse was very beautiful. So I thought I can share this today when we are going deeper into the pastimes of Nrsimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj. And lastly, have a few minutes. Prahlad Maharaj continues his prayers, and this was very significant. So here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, "Oh, best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence, for wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in the thoughts of your glories and activities." So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, I am not afraid of being eliminated from or transcending the cycle of birth and death, because I am anyway engrossed in this oceanic bliss of chanting and singing your glories. But I am concerned for those fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. So Prahlad Maharaj here is saying that he's concerned for those people who have turned away from Krishna or are, in both the boats, right? Uh, Someone who has turned away from Krishna is only looking for material sense gratification and happiness through house, job, family life, and everything else that he thinks is mine, and this is my identity. But Prahlad Maharaj is saying that even if we are getting some happiness from it, firstly, it is illusory because it is an illusion. It is Maya, right? If we don't have it, we crave for it. If we have it, we are lamenting, we want to get out of it. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, I am not worried about myself. I am worried about such people who are carrying this unnecessary burden of getting material opulence, through money, job, family life, house, whatever it be, right? So again, it's nice and easy for me to recite this, but I am a grihastha. I have a child, I have a husband, I have a house, I have a job. So it doesn't, apply that I speak about this to us, right? And many of us are in this position, and it's not that it is wrong to be in this position, but again, Srila Prabhupada has given us a very nice way out of being in this Maya Jal. Prabhupada has told us it's okay to have a family life, right? But we should not be Griha Medis. We have to be Grihasthas, right? What does that mean? Griha Medis are people who have family life for sense gratification. But Prabhupada has very simply told us that be Grihasthas. And how can we be Grihasthas? By putting Krishna in the center of the family, by focusing on Krishna and by focusing on the goal of our life, which is to become Krishna conscious. If we take the example of our house, if we think it belongs to Krishna, right? Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopijana Vallabha ki Jai, Nitai Patita Pavan Gaura Hari ki Jai. I'll finish in 2 more minutes. Again, our house, we can think that it is Krishna's house, right? Our children, our wives, our husbands, they are Krishna's properties. So we should serve them. If our house is Krishna's, we should invite devotees. We should keep Krishna in the center. And that way, it is easy to get Krishna consciousness in our lives and then make Krishna the center of our household, right? So it is possible to be a grihastha, be Krishna conscious, and we'll be able to make our families more happy that way. Because if we give them Krishna consciousness, that is eternal. That is not like the pleasure and happiness that we get from material things, material possessions. And again, our temple, our beautiful temple, it is fully equipped. I mean, we can see it. It is fully equipped to give you everything that you need to be able to serve yourself and your family, right? What do we need? We have the Sunday feast program where devotees can come, look at Krishna's, his beautiful forms, sing and chant his glories, hear Krishna Katha, and take prasadam for purification. We have Sunday school where we can send our kids so that they can get Krishna consciousness from an early age, right? Prahlad just heard in the womb and he got it. Right? We have so many bhakti vrikshas around the vicinity where grihasthas can go to other grihasthas' house and can read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita together and grow as a Krishna conscious family. We have dedicated groups, WhatsApp groups here. There are so many devotees who can engage you in any service that you want. Physically, right? If you have some time, you can engage in any service. If you don't have time, if you can give a little bit of the Lakshmi that we've earned using our intelligence, which also belongs to Krishna, then we can sponsor something, a garland for Krishna. We can sponsor prasadam for the devotees here. So our temple is 100% fully equipped to give you everything that you need to make your lives Krishna conscious. It depends on us, right? Few of us are sitting here. In the vicinity of this temple, there may be at least 10-20,000 families, but only a handful of us are here. This is a very rare opportunity, like Yugal Kishore Prabhuji, he time and again asserts from his heart. This is a very rare opportunity that all of us fortunate souls have gotten. So please, let's make use of it. I appeal you all to please come, please chant and engage in Krishna consciousness and make your lives and your family lives very happy and Krishna conscious. Again, I'm sorry I went a little over. Very neophyte devotee, don't have much realizations, don't know much, but just tried to share something based on Yugal Kishore Prabhuji's instructions. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong, and I seek your blessings because I am also struggling. Please bless me so I can improve in my Krishna consciousness. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Not qualified, but yes.
Thank you so much for a very, very, very lively and wonderful class on apt topic on prayers from Prahlada Maharaj. In the ladies and as you know, we were reading prayers just past 2 weeks. And the point that you brought up, how Prahlada Maharaj is saying that he's not fearful. Just that word is enough to meditate. Because 5-year-old, how can a 5-year-old not be fearful of this ferocious form?
Right.
It's just amazing. Yes. The way you brought it out was just amazing. Thank you so much.
I just shared what I heard from other senior devotees, so nothing of this is mine. Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees. We can take prasadam we can take upstairs. Thank you. Any questions in Zoom?
Wonderful class, Madhuri. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for a wonderful, enlightening class. Hare Krishna.